Digwit YouTube, Constatu. So, first of all, I'll apologize for the quality of this video. I have to use the webcam on my laptop, and for a reason that will become very clear very soon. This is going to be the vlog of my Sligo trip. Um, Today's Sunday. We arrived down Friday evening. It was grand. Got picked up by one of my friends, met another one of my friends, and eventually, and made our way out, had dinner, and got them settled in, met the instructor, and then went to bed. All well and good. Saturday was great crack. Woke up to a stunning view of Ben Bulben and the surrounding mountain range, and then just Mullaghmore Bay, which is where we were staying. Um, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was just nice to wake up to. And the sun was splitting the trees. It wasn't warm, but it wasn't cold at the same time, which was great. So we went down, had breakfast, went around to the classroom and did our first theory session, which was just kind of an introduction to freediving and the history and how it developed, etc., etc. And then the, what's the word? Not anatomy, the biological effects. Uh, Specifically, mostly to do with your sinus region and your ear canal, and the effects that the pressure compressing you have on the air within, specifically within your ear canal and your sinuses, and the pressure that has, the effect the pressure has on you. If you don't, when you dive down, if you don't equalize the pressure in your ears to the pressure outside your ears, you could burst your eardrums basically, which is very painful. But before that happens, you will feel a tremendous amount of pain and compression. Imagine getting your two fingers and jabbing them into your eardrum, into your, just onto the lobes of your ears. Just jab them in, and that's an idea of how it feels. So it's a very simple, easy way to do it. Pinch your nose, take a breath. If you're free diving, you'll have all the breath you can carry anyway, and you just have to kind of blow a little bit through your nose while pinching it, and it just pushes a little bit of air up the canal onto your eardrum, onto the inner side of your eardrum, and that helps relieve the pressure and means you can continue your dive. So that was great. After our theory session, we did about 15 minutes of yoga and deep breathing exercises, which was brilliant, really enjoyable. One of the ones was you have to lie down on your back, and someone else stands over you, and they just have their hands on your chest. Breathe in normally, exhale, and then they push down on your chest with all your weight, all their weight, and you breathe in, and when they think that you're about done breathing in, they release, and that causes the intercostal muscles to suddenly expand and overfill your lungs, and it just loosens up all the muscle between your ribs. I think I'm welcome to be corrected on any of that. So that was nice. That was just really relaxing. We ended up lying. Then at the end, we just lay down and pictured a happy space for about 10 or 15 minutes, and it's just kind of like me 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 me. Yeah. Anyway, then we got all our gear sorted, our fins, our mask, and snorkel, etc. And it was time to go to the pool after lunch, uh, which was fine. It's kind of, it's great to put it into practice. The first thing we had to do was our deep breathing exercises for about 2 minutes, and then take in about 90% of your capacity, and just put your head underwater, let your body go limp, and try and hold your breath for as long as you can. And then you have another person on top of you who just holds their hand on your back, just a little bit to stop you drifting off. And every 30 seconds or so, they'll tap you on the shoulder, and you just give them a little signal. and that lets them know that you're okay. Is it 5 minutes already? Sorry about this. Yeah, so that was that. I lasted 2 minutes 42 seconds, which, not being competitive or anything, is the longest out of the group of 5 that we had. Now, the instructor, on the other hand, can last about 4.5 minutes. 4.5 to 5 minutes, depending on how relaxed he is. So, after that was all said and done, we went and, no, yeah, we went and had lunch after the pool. Then we got to do our freediving in the sea, which was very interesting. Very good fun. Aside from putting on our wetsuits, which are like one big long john, and then a big hooded top that comes over and fastens around the waist. Uh, there's some sort of it's a different texture on the inside to a normal wetsuit for some reason. I think it's more reflective for heat. But it's not quite like that plush neoprene rubber. It's kind of like it's almost got it's slightly smooth but slightly pitted at the same time. Anyway, requires lubrication to get into. Uh, so that was quite fun. A few double entendres. God, this camera is so shit. Ugh. And I look terrible. Anyway, um, so that was great. We got 4 or 5 dives each. My socks, we had to wear neoprene socks under our flippers because they're closed feet flippers, so you can't wear boots. Anyway, that's technical details. Long story short, when I was swimming, my socks were coming off inside my flippers, and one of them came off altogether, and then my flipper came off after I dived. So it's just kind of like, what am I doing? Anyway, got them both back, and I didn't have to replace anything. Uh, that's pretty much for Saturday. Ooh, we were told that we didn't have to do today's activity, till 11:30 this morning. So we ended up staying up till it was about 2:30 by the time we went to bed. And the barman was kind of like, we were saying to the barman, look, do you want to sleep? We'll go to the best in Slán. He's like, oh no, it's fine. I have to hang around there anyway, waiting for the boss to come back. So that was fine. He did tell us to keep quiet though, because we got some very vicious games of Snap going. Snap is a card game, if anyone doesn't know, and basically, if there's 5 people playing, you deal the deck out between 5 people, and each player puts down a card, and the first person to put down a card on top of another card that's the same, so say 2 3s for example, and slap their hand down and shout snap, gets all the cards, and the idea is to have the whole deck at the end of the game. One of the guys woke up this morning and said, my hand feels really sore, it's kind of bruised. Well, that's what you get. Um, yeah, so that was a good night. It was really good fun just to unwind and relax, particularly after a long week of work, which I'll have again next week. Um, Sunday, great fun, absolutely great. We did stand-up paddleboarding, which if you are unfamiliar with, I'll put a link to. If I find a good video, I'll put a link to it up there. And the same with the freediving, I'll put that up there as well. Just for anyone who isn't familiar with it. Yes, so stand-up paddleboarding, great. Really enjoyed it. I've done it before. I've done it on flat water, and I've done it a little bit in waves as well at the beach. So I was quite good at it. I'm not competitive. I really am not competitive. But so one of the guys though did have a little bit of trouble just keeping his balance, which is hard to do actually because the board is only about 2.5, 3 feet, and it's 11 feet long, so it's a pain in the arse to turn. But anyway, long story short, to cut to why I'm using my webcam. When I have a wetsuit on and a buoyancy aid with a pocket on the chest and a little flap. Put my camera in it. Got some photographs. Got a vlog done on Saturday and photos of Ben Bolden and lovely. Anyway, I go to pop up on my board because at the start you're kneeling down, on your board and just paddling out. And then once you're comfortable, you can pop up and stand both feet shoulder width apart on your board and paddle normally. Uh, I was doing this fine, and then I went over to help my friend who wasn't doing too well, and I demonstrated a pop-up, and my pouch was open, and as I jumped, my camera jumped straight into the feckin' Garavogue. That's the name of the river we were on. So my initial thought was, alright, I'll go in after it. So, and it was like, how deep is it? Like, deeper than the paddle, which was 2 meters. So, and it's pitch black as well. So I was kind of like, right. I started taking off my buoyancy head. I intended on pulling up. I had only had the bottom half of my wetsuit and my rash vest and my buoyancy head on because it wasn't cold. So I intended pulling my whole wetsuit and going in after it. But then I was like, it's pitch black. I can't see the bottom. I can't even see the paddle. I won't be able to see my hand in front of me without a pair of goggles. So I was kind of going, shit. So the instructor comes back and I'm like, my camera's down there. Ah, well, I'm afraid there's very little we can do about it. You don't have a pair of goggles? No. Do you? No. Shit. So our freedive instructor was paddling with us, and I eventually managed to catch up to him. By that time, the instructor had told everyone else, and he was like, "Yeah, no, I don't have any goggles or anything in the van." And I said, "Ah, fuck it anyway." You know, these things happen. Worse things could have happened. So may all my bad luck go with it. That's pretty much everything. Got After we got off the water, we went up the Garavogue towards Loch Kill, and the weather conditions changed because Loch Kill is much wider than the actual river. It's huge. It has its own little, like the wind is fed in from 2 or 3 different directions, and there's a bit of a swell on the lake, so it's much harder to paddle on. But we managed to go out to an island called Beezy's Island, and it was named after a lady called Mrs. Beezy. I don't know her first name. Long story short, she lived on the island her entire life, got pretty ill, and was then moved into a nursing home, checked herself out, and rowed back up the river to her island and lived out the remainder of her days. So that's why they named it Beezy's Island, and it was beautiful. I could see why she wanted to stay there. So that's the long story short. I'll try and put together some clips from Google Maps, a few links to a few videos, and maybe something about the river. Other than that, I shall try and vlog a little bit. Like I said in a previous video, next week is going to be hectic. I don't know when I'm going to be able to vlog, but it'll probably be in evening time. I shall have to use my webcam. That's about it. Until I get another camera, which I shall have to look into soon. As soon as I can. I'll keep you posted. Anyway, tá brón Garavogue, agat, slán.